You're welcome back. It's still VOP this morning on VOP television, and this is time for us to analyze what the front pages of the national dailies are talking about. And we have two gentlemen in the studio to help make sense of this. We have Mr. Adeshino Akim Lasisi, who is a public affairs analyst and also a farmer, and we also have Mr. Lawal Ekundayo, an educationist, public affairs commentator, and a farmer also. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good to have you in today's show.
Thank you.
All right, the first paper that we have to look at today is the Vanguard newspaper. And the banner, the headline here reads, Healthcare Crisis, High Cost of Drugs to Persist as Local Production Flops. The writers there reads, only 25% of drugs consumed in Nigeria are produced locally. 70% drug importation puts more pressure on forex. Importation responsible for high cost of drugs. Pharmaceutical sector unique, deserves special policies, PMG in mind. Delete import duty levy to ensure our survival. This is coming from Abure. FG should introduce a reform utilized in petroleum sector, ACPN. And moving on to the window headlines, we have DISCO hike, Band A tariff by 1.3% to 209.5 Naira per kilowatt. DISCO's hike, Band A tariff by 1.3% to 209 Naira 5 kobo per kilowatt. And beneath that, university students block Benin Highway Road over power outage. That is on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. Lamentations, chaos as flood grounds Lagos. You can get that on page 29 of the Vanguard newspaper. Terrorists kidnapped Kaduna Judge, kill son, demand 300 million naira ransom. That is on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. And we have the major pictorial here to be a picture of the flooded area in Lagos State. Beneath that, the other headline there reads, a CBN warns bank against rejecting 30 mutilated Naira notes. That is on page 30 of the Vanguard newspaper. And we have an editorial by Olu Fashion. That is on page 16. And the sports headline reads, Morocco 2025 draws Super Eagles to no opponents today. And the last but not the least of the headline there, face off. Oyo CP brokers a peace between Son, Chief Imam. That is on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. And these are the headlines that made it to the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Which one do you want to react to, Mr. Lawal Ekundayo?
Because yesterday I was in the rain. No, I went out very early yesterday morning. I came back late in the night. And then before the show started, you were discussing this thing. And many people believe that the main reason why there's flooding in Lagos and some part of Nigeria, anytime we have a rainfall, is because people pour refuse into the gutter. See,
no, that's part of the reason.
Yes, I know it's part of the reason, but that's not the main reason. The reason is because of negligence. You get it?
On the part of who now?
Government. It's negligence because the moment the government they do this fire brigade type of desilting of drainages. It's supposed to be a continuous thing. You get it? The local government is supposed to be responsible for their own. It's supposed to have these workers.
Standing committee.
Yes, not contractors, workers, in which their duty is to go, around every day. You get it, and desilt, so that before these things happen, it will not even happen because we already have the
drainages
distilted. But you discover that is not what is happening. They can abandon this thing for long. And that's why you see all this. Yesterday, I went as far as Abure, you get it, towards Badagry side. Almost all those areas were flooded. Then when I was coming back, I got to Toyota here. Look at the drainages beside Toyota. This is Toyota. They're under that bridge. Look at drainage here beside it. And then you see all those areas flooded. flooded. You'll be wondering, this is drainage beside it now, big, and then, so,
when you put this on the
it's not flowing because the reason is because...
What are the things that clogs the drainages? Isn't it refuse, sand, and the likes?
See, one thing is this. The reason why we correct children, you get it, is because we are adults. You get, we have a CAI, we have this civil defense, we have police. You get, we have this neighborhood watch. These are their work to go around. When you see somebody wants to pour refuse in the drainage, person is caught. You take that person to court. Then they give that person community work. You don't need to put that person in detention. Just give him community work. For the next 1 week, you will be the one clearing this area. You know, they will desist. But you see them, they will just sit down somewhere. They will be looking at all this thing. Nothing is happening until there's a problem. See, and apart from the refuse, we also have this, we call it silt, sand, accumulation of sand over time in certain areas. When they accumulate so far and for a long time, this thing block the drainages. You get it? It blocks. So when we have these regular workers, in which their duty is to make sure that we have our drainages cleared, we have all the security agencies monitoring drainages, roadsides, so that you don't pour refuse anyhow. You get, this thing will not be experienced. We will not be experiencing this thing.
All right, Mr. Lasisi, which one would you want to react? I mean, the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper.
Yes, all the stories are very interesting to comment to, but we all live in Lagos and we all saw what happened yesterday. That's what really affected many people, the flooding.
Right.
You see, I will align with what Mr. Lawal said. You see, when we have a government needs to be proactive. As Mr. Moses has said that, look, Lagos is a lowland. You see, look at the population of Lagos. The land mass is very small. And you can imagine the kind of population we're having in Lagos and to take care of all these debt, refuse, and all these things. You see, half of this mass land we are talking about is even occupied by water. But the problem with our government is that they are not always proactive enough. You see, the demo has predicted that, look, so time you will experience this kind of thing. What effort are they putting in place to mitigate against all those things? Those are the things. You look, the local governments are there. You see, it is the duty of government to put pressure on people that, okay, don't do this thing. We have this monthly sanitation environmental sanitation. Why can't we reintroduce that?
I had that conversation with someone yesterday.
Why can't we reintroduce? Because
in introducing environmental sanitation, you know, the clamor then was the fact that people were restricted from moving around.
It's even better because you can imagine lives lost, property destroyed. Can we continue like that?
Can you even?
You see, can we just continue?
Like I said,
you see, the point is
if you want to reintroduce environmental sanitation, can you compel people to work? Because we saw, I mean, growing up, people would just, you know, spend time playing football on the streets or conversing.
People will come out and clear their frontage. That is, we have agencies that will go around monitoring all these things. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a suggestion. Because, look, you will just continue to
Don't you think if we have the right culture as Nigerians, we will understand that we need to keep our environment clean?
Yes, of course. But look at, I've been saying it, that look, Nigerians, the way we are, the way we reason, you just have to change. No, the government just have to take the lead.
Came from the
you see, the government just have to take the lead so that people will know that, okay, this government is serious about this thing. People have predicted that, okay, so period of time, we are going to have this kind of thing.
Yeah,
what effort are you putting in place to mitigate against all these things? Okay. Now, a boy lost his life yesterday, and this thing happened in 2010 in Agege. In Morika said yesterday, no area to go. You cannot. I was lucky that I left home early.
And
that Morika, it has been there when I was even young, which means they have not been able to find a solution to that area. It has always been like that every year, which means government doesn't know what to do about.
And there's a local
creating solving problems of flooding.
And there's a local government there.
The local government are there. Are they not government? They're part of it.
Sir,
that's just the point.
Before you go on, let me. I want just 1 minute. I want to put something down.
Go ahead.
Bring your mind down. See, when we were small, in primary school, in secondary, you see that every Friday, our teachers will take us out. You get it? We'll go around doing environmental sanitation for our communities. You get it? We'll go around. Even when we're in secondary school, we'll go around, we'll do all these things. You see, if you look at around the school, you see the gutters in the school are blocked. Because these days, the education that we are teaching them is not education anymore. You get the selfishness. We are teaching them. In those, every Friday, they will take us out. You know, we close 1.
Yes.
From 1 to 4, we'll go out of the school. We'll go into our areas, we'll carry people. In fact, the parents will be so happy.
You really would not want to do that now because some parents will come after you.
We are suffering.
Am I sending my child
suffering
to
we don't want to do our own things in our own way.
Do you know what I told
it?
When I was a principal in one school, do you know when I had an issue with some parents, do you know what I told them? I said, we'll teach this thing as subject in school. Are you telling me that your children don't sweep for you at home? They couldn't talk. Are you telling me that they cannot wash plates? So why are we educating them? Are they just coming to school? So we are just teaching them to forget. We are teaching them to practice. We do all this in economics, social studies, moral instruction. So you tell me that they don't greet you when they wake up in the morning. They were quiet. And I had my way. You get it? I started using those students. You get it? I started using them. So we see it's fun. Yes. NYSC students, that's what they do when they were in those olden days. That's what they do, not that in these days in which we don't even know what the NYSC students are doing. I mean, the NYSC, these corpers. In those days, that's one of those things they do. You get it? But these days, everything is just, there's no direction. We have lost our educational value.
Only.
There's no value.
Morals.
No education.
No morals are not in
You are just in the academics, you don't teach education.
Okay, then. I would have loved you to respond, if you can, please do, in a minute or less, to the top strip headline from the Vanguard newspaper. Disco's hike Band A tariff by 1.3% to 209 naira 5 kobo per kilowatt hour. Doesn't this feel like, with all the clamor, the cry to reduce the tariff, we're seeing a hike? It feels like when there's something to distract the people, and then an agency of government does something else.
See, the National Assembly, you get it. I was thinking about it this morning. Even it's one of those I wanted to do, but I wanted to talk about this one because it happened to me yesterday.
Yes.
Now, our assemblies, our reps, they actually represent the executive. They don't represent the people. They don't. That's why they are like rubber stamp. You get what I'm saying? That's why they are like rubber stamp in the government. They don't discuss anything. They don't represent the people. Because these are the things that people have said it, that ministry of power, they can quote me. You get it? That ministry will not work. I am saying that ministry will not work. Because there's free money in that area. And when you give somebody money without work, that person will not work. It will not work. We have estimated billing, all this in hike and everything. It's not based on statistics. It's just based on some people sitting down somewhere and decide that let's make money from this area. And then nobody is speaking for the common man. They just do it. And when they do it, they get away with it. They do another one. There's no, until now, I told you what happened in my area, and now we don't know what is happening again. After like 3 days of electricity, we don't know what is happening again. The electricity is gone for another few days now. National grid, we don't know. We don't even know what is happening. Nobody is talking. And somebody is hiking the rate of something that is not there. And nobody is speaking. Because the Ministry of Power itself is voting, it has budget every year for generator and fuel. So what is it going to go there to do? What's it going to do when it's already voting money? There's a budget in the money. I mean, there's a budget, you get it, for generator and fuel to power the company. I mean, the offices of power, Ministry of Power. That means they are telling you that throughout that year, they are going to spend, they are going to use generator and fuel. So how do you expect the ministry to work? It will not work. So the only way they make money is to begin to hike. The next thing they are going to do is to hike again.
All right, you just want to
you see, that's to tell you that this government, they are not even working for us. We are clamoring for the reduction in the hike. Instead of reducing, they increase again. That's to tell you that they are just taking us for a ride. But my advice is that, you see, whatever has a beginning must have an end. They should not push Nigerians to the wall. Because when you push them to the wall, you can see what happened in Kenya. I'm not praying for that. But look, you don't play on the intelligence of people. Don't just play on the intelligence.
So you think the government is taking people for a ride?
For a ride. You can imagine that. That we are even clamoring that, okay, this thing is affecting us. Now, the students of Uniben protested because of blackout in their schools.
But the school have not paid a certain amount of money to a door distributing.
Even the university management have come out to tell the world that, look, if they should allow the university to pay that fees, that electric fee, that the university will go bankrupt.
But other people are being subjected to that high tariff hike. Other companies, other organizations are, because there was one that we know of, where a particular business supposed to be paying 13,000 naira or thereabout, 13 million naira thereabout
every month.
And then now it has gotten to 33 million every month. So how do you expect such company to survive with the economic situation and all that?
That's what we are saying, because it is still going to back on the people. Whatever thing they are doing in that company, whether they are producing something, they are going to get that money back from the people. That's why we are saying that any policy that you are doing or you are introducing that is not people's friendly, I think you need to sit down and look. And
well, the president has instructed the National Assembly to create a platform whereby Nigerians can be part of the process of
discussing about it,
especially
with what we have been saying here, what we have been saying, how many of it are they been able to implement? We have been talking. They are only taking us as we are just talking. But one thing I know is that we cannot just continue like this. That's just my point. We cannot just continue like this.
All right, then let's quickly take another paper.
Sorry, sir. Give me 30 seconds on that electricity. You mentioned investing. You get it? Sometimes, yesterday I was in Lasso, and look at how big the Lasso is, and they are running generator. I begin to wonder, this is already a community on its own. It's a community. Why can't you generate your own power supply? You have you have so many institutes there, engineering, science institute. Why can't you generate your power yourself and supply the whole of that university? And if all universities in Nigeria are doing that, it will put less pressure on this thing, because they have the capacity, they have the knowledge, they have the technocrats there, they have professors of electric engineering, they have professors of so many, and they sit down there and they put fuel inside generator and they are running it. That means it's a shame on Nigerian universities and institutions.
We're absolutely out of time now. In fact, I don't think we can take the headline, the other paper. We'll just get on with the conversation as against taking another paper, because we're out of time for the newspaper review. Now let's look at one of the stories we'll be talking about today. This one has to do with the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Well, he has agreed to comply with the federal government's condition for his release. Let's talk about this one when we come back from this break. All right, before we get into the major conversation for today, let's go to the streets of Lagos. Let's hear what Nigerians are saying concerning headlines, stories that made it to the cover pages of the papers. We have our correspondent, Onyidamola Olukuton, on the streets of Lagos. Onyidamola, good morning to you. What's a Nigerian saying? Talk to us.
They still want to take it. They are still poor. People try to find their way. They are making it. You are waiting for Nigeria to be for his life. We never smile.
Hello, good morning. Should I go?
Hello?
Okay, hello, good morning. We're right here at the newspaper stand this morning to see the opinions of citizens regarding the newspaper airline. Okay, sister, you were saying something about the airline.
All right then. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get the audio from our correspondent who's on the streets of Lagos. But that one may just come your way in subsequent bulletins, in the news especially. All right. Well, let's get into the conversation now. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of indigenous people of Biafra. Fina?
Okay, the IPOB leader has reportedly agreed to the conditions set by President Bola Tinubu's government for his release from the Department of State Services DSS custody. Senator Enyinaya Baribe, who led a delegation of 15 Southeast senators, reviewed this after a meeting with Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi. Kanu's prolonged detention has been a cause of concern due to increased insecurity in the Southeast. But despite this, the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, stated that the release of Nnamdi Kanu was not part of his discussion with the Southeast governors in Enugu. Do you recall that the governors from the Southeast, under the umbrella of the Southeast Governors Forum, appealed to President for Nnamdi Kanu's release? Also, we could recall that last week, it was Obi Agocha who made a movement going to Daura in Katsina State to meet former President Buhari to talk about Nnamdi Kanu's release, as they are talking about having a null process that is settling out of court for AGF and Nnamdi Kanu. And we still have with us in the studio Mr. Lawale Kundayo and Mr. Akim Lasisi. Okay, now, the question I want to ask us is this. Why are we having conflicting information as regards what is happening? The governors in the Southeast said that some of the things that they discussed with President Olusegun Obasanjo was about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. But now we have Olusegun Obasanjo saying that, no, this is not the reason, or we didn't even discuss this after the forum we went for in Enugu State. What do you make of this?
The question I want to ask is that, why is the government still detaining him?
He has a treasonable felony on his head.
But the court said they should release him. So
the court also said he should be that was revoked by the Supreme Court.
Okay. Now, if it's revoked by Supreme Court, that means he has to go back to the lower court. You get it? Because the moment when Supreme Court revoke, you go back to the lower court and continue your this thing. You get it? Now, the question is, why is the government holding him? Because we have so many people with treasonable, and then they were giving amnesty.
Well, maybe that's why they're seeking for a political solution to the whole thing, because it's now left in the hands of the executive now to determine his fate. Now, the fact that this is coming up now, we've seen a resurgence of
people from that
energy,
yes,
especially from the Southeast,
yes,
calling for his release. How do you react to this?
Well, it's a good development, because, you see, I'm a man of peace. I always like where there's peace. You see, that region, if the government continues to detain Nnamdi, because Nnamdi, it has become a phenomenon in that region. Therefore, if you think you can approach the problem of Nnamdi Kanu militarily, you are not getting result. Then I think the political solution that the governors are now coming up to say, look, let us look at this side. Let us solve this problem, because they are the one feeling it. If somebody in detention can give an order that on Monday, people should not go out.
But he's not the one giving the order.
You see one thing is that, yes, of course, but you see, because he has his voice, you will say he's not the one giving the, why are people listening to?
He has already disassociated himself from this claim.
But that thing is still happening in Southeast. If you want
so
to,
that means you are of the opinion that if he's released,
if it's, I'm telling you, because it has become, because he's getting more converts. People are believing in him now, and he's getting more supporters.
Are you saying that his continued detention has attracted more
sympathy? Yes, of course, for him. Therefore, and I said, look, we are one Nigeria. We can still handle the situation. And you see, this is somebody you have arrested since 2001, 2021. You brought him from Kenya. Then, and you see, and up till now, you have not been able to nail him on particular things. That's okay, traceable felony. Then prove your case in the court. You have been for dragging. Then, and things are getting worse in that region. The governors are feeling it. And for them to come out and say, look, let us find a way out of all these problems. I don't see that. That is no longer a problem. For Obasanjo saying that he did not discuss that with the governors. Yes, he has his right. It is his own opinion. But in the first place, he met with the governors. Whether he discussed the issue of Kanu release with them or not, we only God knows. But for him to come out and say, why did he go and meet the governors in the first place? For what? For what? Because there cannot be any meaningful development in that region without peace. If there's no peace, no development. No.
Mr. Lasisi, you know that the clamor for indigenous people of Biafra, for Biafran state, have been there. It even led to the Abure will stand, which later led to the civil war. Now, do you think the release of Nnamdi Kanu can even help quell the tension or the clamor for secession in the southeast? Like
you have said that he has agreed with the condition. Even the House of Reps, Red members met with the Attorney General. They must look at the issue, the legal issue surrounding all these things. That look, we are trying to find a political solution to your problem. This is the thing. Now, one thing I want people to know is that after yes, no doubt about it, there's injustice in that region on the part of the Nigerian state. Yes, I'm bold to say that. I'm not an Igbo man, but
what yardstick is this particular claim from? What yardstick are you basing this?
You see, look at, if we have how many regions in this country, how many regions in this Nigeria? Six.
Political.
Then each region, 6 states were created from that region. Only South is 5 states. Then after the end of the Civil War in 1970, 54 years after, we have not been able, there's no person from that region that's become Nigerian president. Yes, they have reached his vice presidency. If you are saying that, okay, we have forgotten about the Civil War, let us work together as a one family. And look at what happened during the June 12 crisis. In 1999, you see, they considered the ticket to the southwest to compensate the Yorubas. It has never happened. Two Yoruba contesting for election from different political parties, from 2 different political parties. The same thing can be applicable in the southeast. Because I don't see, you see all these things. We are saying that, okay, Igbos, there's no area we will not see Igbos. They are in Lagos, they are in Ogun, they are in everywhere. You understand? There's a lot of injustice going on there. The Nigerian state is not treating that region very well. That's my position.
Some quarters have said, and I'm going to ask you this, Mr. Lawal, some quarters have come out to say that the presidency is not particularly concerned about this particular issue based on the fact that it did not yield dividend politically, and of course, during the last election to the presidency. Do you think that this is one of such reasons why the presidency isn't so concerned about the total release of this man?
See, in 1966, like she was saying about the Abure case, after Ojukwu, another person came on board, another person came on board, another person came. Even if you release Kanu, you get it, another person will still come on board and still continue to agitate. Even the agitation is spreading across the country, if you notice. You get some people in the West.
You think the
say they want to
is far more than Kanu now?
The middle belt, even the middle belt of Nigeria, because I don't call it central north. I don't know what they mean by central north. Me, I call it mid Nigeria or the middle belt. Now, they also feel marginalized. You get it? They feel marginalized. So the problem of this thing that is going on with Kanu is a national issue. But it's like one area, because if you look at many of the bandits, some of them are clamoring for their own Islamic state. Let's face it. You get it? They hoist their flag. Is that not it? When you have a flag, that means you have declared your own state. Let's face it. That's what is going on across the country. So now, Nnamdi Kanu being held, every people in the Igbo land will be seeing it as marginalization. Because we see so many who did the same thing and they've been released. They were given amnesty. Some of them, they were even, redrafted into military or whatever, some other part of the government. We even see some ministers, committing, some politicians committing treason with their voice, with their statements. Like somebody saying, I'll make your government ungovernable. You get it? And the person is feeling fine. You get? If you look by the law, you get that's treason. That's treason. And this person is a statesman. So you get it, that has his own followers and disciples and sympathizers. So this one now, they'll be counting. They'll be counting. And they'll feel marginalized. All right. So it's not solving. The best way to solve it, that's why some people who saw this thing, they don't want to make it look like somebody is going to, that's why they are telling the government to release him. This thing has been happening across the world. You get what I'm saying? It happens in Scotland. It happens in I think, Ireland, in which there was some terrorists and whatever. It got to a level the Thatcher had to tell them to give them independence. So they gave this to them. In Scotland, they went to vote. And Scottish said, no, they want to continue with the UK. And that's why their country is happy. And that's why they are progressing. You get it? Because they have a mutual understanding of coming together. Nobody sent forces there. It happened in Spain between the Catalonians and the Spanish. And we don't see, the man was arrested. In fact, he was arrested, you get it. He was even taken to court and he was even jailed and they released him after some months. And that place, quieting down. Because they try to make the people feel like, see, this thing that is happening is something that we can discuss together, we can still work together, we can live together, we can do this too. That's why you see them coming together. Right. Even when Europe broke, Georgia is just like 2 million people. And they're Europe. But Europe understand that there's power in number. That's why they came together and formed that European Union. And they are powerful. You get it? They have a mutual understanding. They are of reason why they have to come together, why they need to come together, not by force. You get it? But this one you are doing to Kanu now, it makes the people in the east, even northeast, getting sympathizers from even south now. Some people are agitating and start forming groups together and say that they are going to begin to disrupt something.
I dare say that you have not answered my question.
Yes, let me just rescue you on that, because you see, I don't rule out a game plan.
Right.
In this scenario. You see, the president is a very smart guy. He must have looked at his performance in the last election. And what you are now seeing, the reps are coming, appealing, the governors are meeting, appealing, is about 2027.
How do you mean?
What I mean is this. Look, they believe, you see, if you look at the calculation now, I will say this. Now, I've told you that Atiku will contest in 2027 because it has been his time and he will not go anywhere. And the North may not even like to vote for him because...
Vote for who now?
Atiku. Because they would like... You see now, one thing is this. Tinubu is enjoying his first term. Therefore, they will like a candidate. If they may not even support Tinubu, they will like a candidate from the South again to come on board. So that person will use one term. Because they would like that power to go back in 2027 to after 2031 to go back to the north. Are you getting my point? Yeah. Therefore, if they should vote for any southerner except Tinubu, like Obi coming out in 2000, I've said it here that look, I will vote for Obi. That's my position. Now, what I'm saying is that Tinubu, just back to your question that look, Tinubu is having his game plan and is using these reps members and the governors to, like, you know, the Governors Forum chairman in that south is Hope Uzodinma. Right. They may be the one pushing for all this. Look, if
I was going to ask. I was going to actually
let's just learn that. Look, if you can mobilize your people, then your demand, I will be able to meet it. Then you must pay me back in 2027. That's just the game plan.
Oh, that's your analysis.
That's the game plan. That's the game plan.
So you're saying it's all the game.
It's a game. It's a politics.
Politics. I was going to ask. I was going to ask you actually, but Mr. Ekundayo can also respond. I was going to ask: is this the government? Is this the government, the governors now succumbing to pressure All right, because we know that a lot of people are clamoring for social media. You know, a lot of people have been saying, look, you guys are not together. If you were together, you would have called for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Is this the governors succumbing to pressure or doing what is needful? But now you've said it's a political strategy.
Strategy, because now they are now putting their house in order now. They were
Speaking
divided
with one voice.
now. You
Are
know,
they really speaking with one voice?
they are speaking because if
Where
they,
the IPOB have come up to accuse some of the politicians from the southeast of sabotaging the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
there's no way, there's no process that will not be sabotaged. It's not necessary now. There will always be a sabotage. But the point is this: for the governors coming together, who are really controlling the states? Are they not the governors? Who are the politicians that are sabotaging? Let the IPO come out their names.
Don't you think it is because of the money that's being lost every Monday, sit at home, that made the governors to come up with this? Because we know that trillions of naira is what the southeastern region loses every Monday.
Yeah, it can be. Yes, of course.
So are you
for
still
economic
targeting it to be a
reasons, yeah, you
political
can
reason?
say yes, of course.
Are you still targeting it now to be a political reason, the coming together of the governors to come up?
It's my opinion. It's a suggestion. That's just my point. I'm telling you, the game plan for how long that he has been there? He has been there for how many years? More than 3 or 4 years now. Why are they coming now?
You don't think it's because they feel...
Where are they coming now? Or they are feeling the heat?
They can talk.
Okay, they are not feeling the heat before.
They can talk to the Tinubu.
Yes. Okay, they cannot talk to Buhari.
I'm asking the question.
They could not talk to Buhari. This thing is that Tinubu is a very smart when it comes to politics. That's what he knows best. I'm telling you.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. You know how to do the politics.
It's interesting. It's interesting because we are not enjoying it. It's a political strategy. And I want to ask you now: do you also think that if, according to the strategy, it works, and then maybe, just maybe, Nnamdi Kanu is released, do you think the southeastern governors would want to go against their people if Peter Obi comes in 2027 to come as a candidate again? Do you think they want to leave their brother as against...
even the Ojukwu that started this issue, what did they do to him in 2003 and 2007 before he died? He formed a party. The Igbo supported that party. They did not. That is one thing. What happened in 2023 is going to be different from what is going to happen in 2027. That is Nigerian politics for you. Because one thing is this: if they will not support Obi, because they know if Obi should eventually win that election, he's going to spend another 2 terms, that it will affect their own game plan. Are you getting my point? Don't forget, they may even drag Jonathan back in 2027. Just quote me. Just let me put that.
I understand. You said you have a reservation.
We'll save this one.
So yes, for posterity. That's just it. Because they are watching now. Now, because you see, Tinubu, when it comes to politics, give it to him. All this issue that we are seeing in the north, in the Kano, in the rivers, in all these things, it is about 2027. I've said it here, and you will see. Time will tell.
But do you think Nigerians are not awoke at this time, owing to the fact that a lot of people are suffering? Insecurity on every side, inflation going to the sky. Now, my question is, do you think that Nigerians are not solely aware of their situation to even want to allow this kind of strategy have his power in 2027?
Only microscopic few that we align with what you are saying. Because this government have reduced people to the level that once it is election time, just give them anything. They are ready.
In other words, weaponize poverty.
Of course. That is just my point. If you see the way people will be reacting, you will even surprise that, despite all the sufferings, look at the way we suffered during Buhari era. Look, you can imagine the statement made by Fayemi that they were only playing politics for Jonathan in 2000. Things were not as bad as this then. Then we had that protest in Ojota with a tin of beans that is being sold at 2,000 naira. And everybody's just keeping quiet. Nobody's saying anything. then something is fishy somewhere. Are you getting my point? If we can keep quiet with us not talking now, and when it's election time, they can easily get. No, there are a lot of things that is going on that people don't even know.
It's quite.
Are you getting my point?
Mr. Lawa, what's the reservation?
You think? Do you also told this direction because Nigerians are going extreme? Okay, so the last protest by Nigerians was not motivated by labor.
Yeah.
I mean, these are Nigerians that took to the streets. So do you think that come 2027, they will have to toe the line of taking some inducement before voting? You think Nigerians are not aware of their situation presently?
See, I told people in 2023, you get it, when I was studying all those things, that this Nigeria you are seeing is not the Nigeria of people. People say, no, it's not true, this and that, and it happened.
It's not Nigeria of what? I didn't get that part.
See, it's not Nigeria of, oh, we have a new Nigeria. You don't believe it. See what is happening in the north. Normally, the north are always very quiet. The northerners, anything their leaders say, they just go along with it. But they are protesting against their leaders. See, they are getting wiser. They are not being in the dark again. They see the light. They want to go after it. See, this thing that is happening in the east, that the governors are coming in to tell the president, and though one or two of them said that during the time of Buhari, you get. But now many of them are coming out. I think the reason is because, one, the people are beginning to see them as the enemy. That is one of the reasons why they are speaking out. The people begin to see. You see, many of those groups, they finger the governors as people who are preventing Kanu from being released, or people, they are not bringing, they are not taking actions on this. That is why you see them now trying to come, because now the people believe more in these groups than in the governors. When the groups speak, they tend to follow them than when the governors speak. Do you understand? For example, when Buhari visited the East, the governor told them to come out, even put soldiers out. But the people didn't come out. In fact, the place was dry. The governor felt very bad.
Right.
Okay. You get it? So you see now the people begin to see the governors as their problem. And that's why the governors are now coming out to let the people know, their people know that we are not the problem, we are also speaking for you. You get it?
Mr. Lawal,
that is what is happening now.
Nnamdi Kanu, before he went in, or before he was extradited from Kenya and detained under the SS, have been making so many statements regarding Nigerian government, which also happened to people targeted to be inciting and all that. But now, bringing it back to his release, do you think that his release will in any way stop the issue of agitation and even the incitement that people have actually tagged him to be doing in the southeastern region?
See, the government is not being smart enough with this guy. You get, I've said it here before, I've said it on media.
How smart can they get?
See, if you incarcerate him, you get it. He's already a hero. You get it. People will continue to follow him. If you kill him, he's already a hero. People will continue to follow him. If you release him, that is where you can now say, okay, we will release you now.
Are people following Nnamdi Kanu following because of Biafra, Mr. Lawal? Is it Nnamdi Kanu that people are following?
There will always be
of Biafra.
See, even when you have a movement, there will always be somebody in the front. Even if all of you start the movement, there must be a leader. You get it? If you look at Mandela, Mandela didn't start a war against apartheid. He joined along the line. You get it? And became the hero of it. That is how it happens. Even MK Abiola.
That's exactly the same way Nnamdi Kanu joined. They called for.
Of course, yes. Well, you were not the one that started.
So if you take him down, you get it? Because people are watching, people are listening, people are looking at what you are doing. You get it? So that is why the governors are coming up on board now to say that.
Well, we have responses from social media. Let's quickly take a few of them. If we have them, let's have them up on the screen so we can take them. These are responses from Nigerians who are, responding to the conversation right now. Okay. Well, I do understand that. We'll get to that in a bit. I
was going to ask you. You said the government is not being smart and intelligent with this situation. How exactly do you think they are supposed to be?
That is why we have comparative knowledge. We have comparative education, comparative politics. You have to compare the way others are doing and make something better for yourself. I've mentioned it in many countries where similar things happen and they die down. You get it? They die down. You don't have to. You see, when you incarcerate somebody who is speaking, people begin to look at him as a okay, why are you in custody? He became popular.
Saying something,
like in Yoruba proverb, there's a proverb that says, can I say the Yoruba proverb?
Yes, then you interpret it.
He said, "Aloniti ahun, aboniti anoe." You get how is a tortoise in Yoruba land? We call it the tortoise is ahun.
Okay.
Now, how the tortoise did something wrong in to his in-law. So the in-law now tied him outside in public.
Castigated.
So people were looking at him when they were going to the farm. What did he do? This man, he stole from his in-law. He stole from. People begin to insult him. I said, you are a thief. Imagine stealing from your in-law. That was in the morning. The in-law was very happy that they were siding me. He now left him till evening. So when people were coming from the farm, they began to see the same man that you tied in the morning, still there in the evening, suffering, almost dying. Because they now turned against the in-law. The in-law. That's so is he not your in-law? Since you are punishing him since morning, why do you still have to hold him till evening? You are a bad man.
If you are your in-law, you will have killed him.
Do you want to kill him? So the in-law now felt bad that okay, they have not turned against. He had to release.
So you think that's exactly
that's what is happening. When this guy started this, people were saying, he's doing this idea. Now, they now see that it's getting too much. So it's now getting sympathy, sympathizers. That's what is going on. That's why I said the government is not being smart about this thing.
But the bottom line is that the government should release Kanu.
Simple.
All right then. Well, in wrapping up this conversation, let's take comments from Nigerians now. Let's have those ones up. We hear that
this is
protest for our dear brother, incompetent government that's supposed to deal with high demand for crude oil due to international war and scale of demands so as to pump money into Nigeria. Well, I don't know if that has to do with what we're talking about. Well, this is a propaganda that Nnamdi Kanu cannot succumb to. Would you prefer the man to remain in custody? Okay, thank you very much for that one. Can we take it up a little bit? Action, no talking. British and US government must, well, we can't see the other part.
But the one before son, he said Nigeria's political system is purely a failure. Why this time should we suffer other countries' war, genocide by exporting at old interest rate, I believe, without higher tax and reducing fuel inflation alone? All right.
All right, this one reads...
That one you were reading.
Yes, British and US government must go. Leave Nigeria and Africa with immediate effect. Okay, must go, says APC, must go to jail. Okay, this person just wants everybody to go. Just go. Else PDP must be, okay, just go. That's what's the name now? That's a son.
Yeah.
Well, is that a name that can be held accountable? Because you should be held accountable for your statement.
For your statement.
Okay. Yoruba Nation, well, that's the same person. Well, he says Yoruba Nation created PDP party for peace and unity. I see no reason letting legal immigrants have full control of Yoruba Nation. Okay, well, thank you very much, son, for your comments, but we need a name that, is that one can relate to, actually. Well, I must say very big thank you to you for sending those messages in. Now, let's move on to another conversation now. Yakubu Dogara, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, disclosed that his total allowance during his tenure as Speaker was 25 million naira, while his salary was 400,000 naira. That's the running cost of the office, 25 million naira. And then, he went on to say...
Is it per month?
Per month, yes.
Monthly salary.
And then he went on to say the money is not even enough. It finishes within 3 days.
Like that.
Interested. Let's talk about this one when we come back.